We're back.
Oh god.
Hi guys.
Hello, all in one. Everybody, yes. Hello,
Hello.
Stuart.
Hello.
Huh?
Yes.
My phone just told me Trekyards is live. Yeah, I know.
Who are they?
I'm there. It's fine. I've been there, done that. I've done a couple of those
Never heard of
episodes.
them. Never heard of them.
Disagree. You know, Stuart. You know. That's us. That's very floofy today, apparently. What's going on with my hair? Seasons, Stuart. It's been a long road getting from there to here. Is that the right show? Maybe.
Wrong series.
You don't know. We do know. Season 7. The end of the TNG. What is happening with this hair? The end of the TNG journey, but we will continue. It's like doing a thing. It's like damn.
I'm having a bad hair day today as well.
Like, what is going on? It's better now, okay. Starting this week, though, Stuart, DS9. Some people think it's their favourite. Some people is their favourite. Some people's least favourite. Let's see how we fare. Are you excited to swap shows, to follow the trend into the next show made?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Not as much as you, though. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
When we get to Voyager, I'll be like, haha, I know this one. Haha, I know this one. Haha, I know this one. Enterprise, like, haha, I forgot about this one. Haha, I forgot about this one. Haha, I forgot about this one.
Yeah.
Not in a mean way, just, you know.
Speaking of that, I had a peruse of the episode titles for this season. And there's very little that I remember, title-wise, like to put to an episode.
And you watch these for fun.
I know. And I'm sure once we get into them and I kind of scroll through some of them, I'll be like, oh, yes, it's this one. But title-wise, I'm sorry, but I don't know what happened with the last season. I can't. Looking at the titles, I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
I mean, that's why there's a poll, right? We're at the polls, Stuart, because it's out being asked for a reason.
The poll, which is a weaker season of TNG, season 2 or season 7? What?
Because we thought 3 to 6, pretty solid, pretty strong.
Yes.
But Stuart, there's a couple of super chats at the start. If you want to throw them in, there's a reason I'm looking like this.
Yes, indeed. Classic for real, $35. What? All good things must include Lower Decks. How a mariner for a cartoon is hot. Who has a chip on her shoulder, over her shoulder for Locarno, killing Cito and Ransom, doing commando missions. Better than Picard. $30 for Lower Decks series uniform. You said series uniform, but you're wearing the episode Lower Decks uniform.
I'm a Lower Decker.
You're even an ensign.
I'm a Lower Decker. Because I bought the Cosmart Lower Decks uniform when it came out. It's trash. So it's at the bottom of the box, underneath the other box, underneath the Star Wars stuff. It's terrible. I might make a good one, but they're really expensive to make the good ones. So I am a Lower Decker.
From the episode Lower Decks?
Yes. So I did think about that going in.
Yes. Speaking of, we'll talk about that episode first, I guess.
And you know what's funny? I started, I did all the prep to get all the things. And I was like, great, we're going to get to talk about finally the guy that you know, blanked everyone's memories and made them think he was one of their commander. That was a different season, but I put it in for it. We didn't get to talk about it.
Oh, Macduff?
Yeah, but there's a few that we just did not get to talk about because no one put forward them. So therefore it's like, oh, just missed that one. It's like, oh. Luckily not most of them, but a couple. Like I was like, oh, that's going to be season 7. And it never came up. It's like, oh. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And what do you think of my choice, before we jump onto this, of the thumbnail choice of the entire season to summarise the season? Because every season there's always kind of an episode. I went for this one. What do you think?
Captain Picard Day. I don't know. I saw it and thought, okay, that's amusing. But I don't know. I like I said, this season doesn't ring a lot of bells for me. And which is weird. Nothing stands out. So,
because I was thinking, of course, best of both worlds. Oh, no, all good things, sorry. But then what would summarize all good things? It isn't any one particular uniform. It isn't, you know what I mean? I'm not sure what summarized that, so I went for a more iconic visual that we all know about, even if not necessarily that season. So anyway, so I'm going to start sharing.
Performing on the biggest...
Do that, and I'll tell these people to do things. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell icon. Do all the things. Super chat in. Your $5 super chat lets you dictate which is the episode we talk about next. Of course, first of all, we're going to be talking about this episode, Lower Decks, which is the inspiration for the series Lower Decks, because Mike McMahon is a fan of this episode. Thank you, Classic, for real, for that. So there's also a join button down there on YouTube. Click that so you can join the channel, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards as another monthly way to support the channel. Get your name in the credits, all that fun stuff. If you like watching what we do, listening to us jabber, and act like idiots for you guys, with you guys, by all means, consider joining and helping us out, or just sending us a super chat. That's all awesome. Or just hit like. We have 22 people here and 12 likes. I think we can hit 20 likes, no problem. So hit that like button. Also, don't forget there are links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. Some cool Trekyards merch, as well as a lot of other merch as well. So check those out, and those also help us out when you just click through the link and check out the store. So anything you can do to help us out, just being part of the conversation, joining us for these lives, watching our content, our edited content, all the things. We're always around. Been around for 10 years now. I'm looking forward to another 10, hopefully. Another 10 years with Sam. I'm glad he's not back. I'm glad he's still sharing this video around.
Huh?
What?
What's that, Sonny? Huh?
I mean, yay, Sam.
Yay, Sam. Yes. So Lower Decks, the inspiration for another episode of a series, or series of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Lower Decks. But
this is oh, go ahead.
I'll say briefly my thoughts on this season. You said unmemorable. My sort of think of the season is the everything else season. There's some gems. There's some stuff. There's some stuff that you can't remember what season it's in. Probably in season 7, because it feels the same as 5, 6, and 4, but doesn't. But those ones have other distinctly big ones. So it's the everything else season. Because there are a few good ones for sure.
And Sub Rosa.
But I was kind of surprised a couple of them how absolutely late they were, like last few episodes, because obviously they knew the order, so they chose to put them in at the end of the end, right? That I found kind of interesting going back in. But a couple of solid ones. I'm interested to see if there's any Fs or S's. Well, let's find out. Sorry, Lodex, season 7 episode 15.
Yeah, this is a fun one because you don't get the point of view of what the hell is happening necessarily in the story. You see it from the lower deckers' perspective. First of all, they're all very likable characters, all the lower decks people, and you get to see their struggles dealing with the command crew and seeing a little bit of the story playing out in their eyes and by word of mouth as to what the hell's going on, which, to be fair, the majority of the ship would experience this on every episode of this show. And all of a sudden your quarters are rocking, or there's no power, or and you don't know why. It's got to be awful. But no, this was the episode that inspired the series Lower Decks. Mike McMahon is a big fan of this episode. It's see Sito back. She was in First Duty, and it's a really good story with her being selected for this mission because she's Bajoran, going undercover, doing some Cardassian stuff. Her fate seems to be, told to us at the end, but it could be that she's still alive. We just don't know. But yeah, it's a situation. Also, I love the kind of gossip and the trying to figure out what is going on, what the upper tier think of them, especially the one guy who's trying to get familiar with Riker and says, "So you're Canadian? Where'd you hear that?" I'm actually from Alaska. This is a kind of everyman's episode because you can relate to it. You get the sense that you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and I love that. That's what Discovery was supposed to be, kind of. It wasn't going to be the bridge crew people that you were following. It was supposed to be
end up being the most single focus show ever.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good episode. It's fun until the end. It's kind of depressing and sad, and it's like, well, shit. But that's what you get for signing up for Starfleet, and who knows who can be called upon at any time to do anything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I really like this one. I think it's well written. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the casting's really great. They're all likable, especially the guy from 10 Forward who is not in Starfleet necessarily, so he kind of gets to talk to other people and hear more.
It's a waiting staff. There always
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
and pass it around to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they even have their own game of poker going on as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's really interesting to see it from this perspective.
Yeah, as I'm skimming, it's funny. It's an episode that never gets into high gear because it can't. That's the point, right? They're stuck on whatever gear 1 would be. So it's a gentle meandering through the storyline, but that's incredibly intentional. So it's not exciting. It's not the most interesting, but it's in a good way frustrating, very contextual. I love how all the secondaries, or in this case, the main cars are all wearing the jump back to the jumpsuits, but the ones with the lines at the front, which look so untidy. It's like just put them in the back as everything else. If they feel feel less premiere. This episode I love in the sense that you finally get Ogawa to have lines. She has more lines in one episode and more character than any other part, and that by itself is worth it, especially in season 7. Awesome, great casting in general of the people, of course, in general. And to kind of play some of the twists and I've played off this idea that we see the heroes, but most 1,000 people don't know what's happening on the bridge. How could they? Especially the janitor cleaning the whole deck or the bartender. They don't know at any point, and it's actually interesting that way, right? But also annoying in its own way. Yeah, it's a very different episode. It probably could have a sharper story. Like Data's Day is a bit sharper, but again, they're not specialists. They're not right. It's trying to do a bit too much, probably. So it does everything well, but doesn't quite hit has a few genius moments, but you know what I mean? And then it gets really focused at the end, and I think it's a very sad ending, of course, but it's too focused at the end on that. So for the season, I can't say because we're not there yet, right?
Yeah.
But I would probably best in this season, a low A.
Yeah,
would be a B for other seasons, but I think the season will be a bit weaker based on the skim. And it's definitely stronger of the season. But I would say it hits into A, but not so the strongest A.
I would agree.
I mean, this is one you should... There's like a pantheon of 15 episodes for context of Star Trek. This would be one of them. Like First Duty, which is ironic, which is in both of them. Just to get some texture for the universe.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Good stuff.
Okay.
And yes, not Vorik, isn't it?
Yeah. Ulna Enos, member for 17 months at the rank of Admiral. Time for Canada bacon with pizza and blood wine and hot dogs.
Okay, I've got none of those things.
Some of those things sound good.
I had real bacon today. I had some bacon.
Nice.
And thank you, as ever, for being Admiral. It absolutely keeps us going, so thanks so much.
Yes. Classic for real, $5. You owe Ozzy Sub Rosa from last time. Except I'm paying for Sub Rosa now, so Ozzy can pick a different episode now.
Very nice.
Well, let us know in the chat, Oz, which one you want. Okay, Sub Rosa.
Never seen it. Never seen it. I know the jokes about it. Never seen it. I mean, I'm sure I've seen bits of it. I'm excited to see it when we get there, but never actually seen it, and I'm pretty darn sure. At least, never all the way through. Because it was never on, never put on, never enjoyed enough by the family to watch it, so never actually seen it fully.
I mean, it's got a few interesting visuals, like old kind of Scottish type, planets. The Howard family residence and the death of the grandma coming back to life in the casket. There's a green entity, which we saw in one of the episodes of Lower Decks this last season, that infected the one whale. Same thing. I forget exactly what they called it. But the actor who plays Shakar in DS9 is in this. He plays the love interest, the ghost, if you will, that's kind of seduces Beverly. She resigns her commission from the Enterprise after the death of her grandma and wants to stay there to carry on the job that she was doing. She was basically like she was a doctor, but she used more natural remedies. So she's taking over the family estate that's there and kind of continuing that legacy because she's being fed off of by this energy being that has done this to the Howard women for, I guess, generations.
Which just happened in season 6 with Troy being fed off for a negotiation.
Yes, well, same kind of thing, but slightly different.
No, I'm saying it's odd. They're both ladies in both seasons both got the same, not the same, but it's a very similar plot.
Yeah.
She just got sexy lingerie and she got candle sex.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some weird romance elements going on here. It's kind of like a Harlequin novel, but it's not that great nor memorable. And I've only seen it. Well, I don't know how many times I've seen it, but it doesn't stick with you. The last time we saw it, me and Sylvia watched like maybe 20 minutes of it when we were waiting for something else. And it's like, that's Shakar. What the hell? It's kind of weird seeing Shakar as this other guy romancing Beverly, but and I forget exactly how they get rid of the entity.
The power of friendship?
No, Beverly eventually clues in and kind of turns on him and like stops loving him, which drains all his power, something like that.
That rings a bell, yeah.
But yeah, it's not super great. I don't know if it's as bad as everybody says it is. It's just one of those weird ones that sticks with you because of the visual of her having sex with a ghost, which is the picture we have here.
Like saying I'm going to trust you on this because I don't know enough about it to give it a judge. So you get the full power here, Stuart. Full power ahead.
Damn, I'm just kind of skimming to see if there's anything else that rings a bell, and there's.
And remember, it is
really.
for this season as well. So, but F is a special place. We've held off some Fs because it wasn't that bad. So,
I'm gonna say D, just because I have no real memory of what the hell happened, and it could probably be an F, but I just don't want to. You know, they had their stride at this point, so.
No, I tell you what, if when we get to this episode in our actual reviews, time travel exists, then let's let future Stuart transport in and bitch slap you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think exactly that.
Okay. It should be an F.
Oh wow,
holy fuck, this should be an F. I forgot how bad this was.
That sounded real big. I don't
know. That future Stuart's an asshole. Dedicated to the bit, man.
Wow, was my joke was that it wasn't that bad, so you didn't get back in time, so it should be a D. But hey, I mean, for that slap, you should.
It'll be F for now because, goddamn, I was told.
That's a good example of it brain controlled you. That's clever. That's good. That's a good interpretation like that. All right, next. Wow. I'm sure you're more awake last year. I'm sure you're. Wow.
What is next?
$1 super chat for a face slap. Come on, there's 31s right now. Next.
Absolutely, yeah. Olivia, $5. The Pegasus.
Transphasic cloak. Anne Romulans, Anne Oberth, and Preston. Not Prestman, Preston.
And these are the voyages.
And Captain Picard Day.
Oh, it's Captain Picard Day one? Okay.
With a really nice smile. And Excelsior with a hood. Last Badmiral of the show? I think so.
Probably.
Yeah. His first command, or his first big ship, Riker, where he has a mutiny against the captain, which is pretty big. You know, and Riker's side, if I recall, Riker like pulls a phaser on the mutineer, gets his captain to an escape pod shuttle and escapes. Therefore, that pushes him up in the ranking to get promotion to be on the next ship to get on the D. So his crew has been created because of that mutiny, and then that crew failed to use the cloak and trapped themselves in an asteroid and all died while being an asteroid. Pretty gruesome when you think about it, and pretty sciencey. And yeah, what do you think of Pegasus?
This is a really enjoyable episode for me because it's one of those, what's going on behind the scenes? What is this all about? Just because we get the kind of tension between Riker and Pressman, and the mystery of like a transphasic cloak and the Oberth embedded in an asteroid, and then playing a game of cat and mouse looking for it. The Romulans and the Enterprise scanning. There's some really great stuff here. I don't remember a lot of the subtext in this one, or the general, like I just know the generalities of the episode. I don't know the specifics. I don't remember the intricacies of it. I haven't watched it in a while.
Well, it's about loyalty, isn't it? It's about loyalty to a past captain, to a future captain. He's now an admiral, therefore he outranks everybody. And where does that loyalty go? And also, Pressman is assuming that Riker will be on his stead up until the last minute, but obviously betrays his old captain for his new captain, an admiral who can,
And it gave us Captain Picard Day, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There are some great ship shots in this of the Derridecks and the Enterprise and the asteroids. There's some really nice visuals.
In the asteroid, and they committed fully to that bit, visually wise.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was originally supposed to be a Ambassador-class Nebula-style ship.
Yep.
Which would have been so awesome to see. Not that the Oberth isn't, but it just would have been cool to get another ship. So it is still good for people like me that love ships, people like you that love ships. This has got some good stuff and some good procedural stuff of scanning the asteroid field and kind of keeping up with what the Romulans are doing. And of course given a lot more context because of These Are the Voyages, where we get the him talking to Deanna about the decision he's trying to make during this episode. Where does that all fit into here? So
it's a nice sort of political, not thriller, and it certainly works well as a second watch when this is absolutely treaty breaking. This is potentially galaxy changing, both from a war might start, but also they're risking the possibility of war, because if you have transphasic cloak, you can do a lot more with it. It's amazing technological, which is never mentioned again, but well beats Chang's Bird of Prey. I love it's an Oberth as well, because you'd want to put the most advanced, amazing next-gen tech on an unsuspecting test ship, right?
Yes.
That's kind of fun. An Ambassador at that point is still not new, but it's still fine. Yeah, it's fun. It's a good mystery, and to have Riker be on the back foot is interesting, given, as you've said many a time, he loses all character motivation. This is a really good by the book for him episode, and therefore pushing the book.
Yeah. I love the loyalty thing too between two captains.
And it's first captain, like first proper memorable captain with a you would remember this, and it's the fact they play Pressman as a relatively good admiral, because he thinks he's doing the right thing, right? He's not playing a villain. He's not playing it with misintention. He's very straightforward in that he's got this job, blah blah blah. What they're finding is the secret, but he's doing it for all the right reasons to him, and so it comes across. What are you thinking score-wise? Because it's definitely an Us episode, and it never quite, as I'm scrolling, never quite gets the cherry on top.
For me, it's probably a B at the most. Just because I don't remember a lot of the nuances of it. I'm going to say B for now.
It's better than Solid. I think if it had been Tomlock, would have been a higher thing to have that continuing canon. It's just some Romulan, which is fine. I was very low A, high B, because it's certainly a very unique episode, and it plays expectations a bit. Yeah, go for a B.
Yeah, we'll throw it a B for now.
It is missing something to kind of make it extra. I wonder if that's going to be a common vibe this season.
I think more of Riker's tortured decision making would be oh wait, we get that later.
Well, he put on a bit of weight and his hair's grayer. That's confusing.
Well,
Weird. I mean, stress does that, right?
I started this day off with brown hair. Classic for real, $5. Best season 7 TNG episode of all. Emissary Part 1. When the Enterprise docked at that one station, and boy did that station commander look pissed at him. That would be Deep Space Nine. Which will be later this week.
Yes.
Thursday.
Yeah, he was not happy with the massacre would affect your opinion of somebody in fairness,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go from these lovely HD stills to SD, and it's going to be hard to work with. Anyway, okay, cool.
Ray Ricks, £10.
Ray.
Thank you, Ray. Can only jump on stream for a few minutes, so I'm going with my best finale of all the series. All good things. Both parts.
Yep, and it's a two-parter, so thank you, Ray. It's very considerate of you. Now, do we review them different as two parts? I guess he did just technically do that. So you've got the still for part 2. Let me find one for part 1.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Indeedly doodly.
So Best Birth Worlds part 1, which I suppose ends at...
All good things. Not
Sorry.
Best of Worlds.
So it ends with the... Ends with finding Worf, I suppose. Or no, it ends with Q on the trial. The first trial.
Yes.
I found the actual... Yeah, so it's like, it's Q that's behind it. Dum dum dum. And then rolls in.
Than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's the point. So yeah, Q is the end of part 1.
Oh, this is probably the perfect way to end a series like this. Getting to revisit the past. That's not in part 1, no, is it? Yes, it is. Okay. Yes.
Everything's in every part.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Red Shirt O'Brien. We got, and to see Tasha Yar back, to see the first arrival to the Enterprise, stuff like that. There's some amazing stuff here, and it kind of encapsulates the entire series. And Q's back. It's a big reveal. Like, it ends the way it started with the trial. And to see old Picard and everybody aged up, I think, is awesome as well. Yeah, it's a fantastic story as well. The idea of the counter anomaly that's getting bigger in the
Past.
How's that? Bigger in the past.
They start in the future.
Yeah.
With a more advanced ship. By trying to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great story. Very well done. And like I said, I think it's the perfect way to end a series like this. It's almost perfect storytelling, in my opinion. To be able to kind of go take a walk down, memory lane, so to speak, and do a recap of the entire series a little bit. So,
and it benefits from being everything. You get these fun future sequences, which gives you new. You get the present day, which you're expecting, but then you get these old school things in the original uniform. They did a little bit with the bridge, although it's not quite the same. But it's an easy way of getting all of the gang back together and the original uniforms, and it's a relatively cheap way of doing that because those uniforms still exist, everyone still fits in them probably, etc. And have it be Patrick centric, Picard centric is good. Have it be, a simple story. Time travel's always a good one. Q's always a good one. It's a really, obviously the wrong word, but it's very fan servicey. But yes, you should service your fans after 7 years. And getting a movie, and who are you making for if not the fans? You ain't making it for any Joe Blow. No one on Earth said, "Oh, the old new Star Trek show is finishing its 7-year run. Let me tune into the finale." Oh, that was okay. It's not for those people. It's only for Star Trek fans. So of course, doesn't matter if they don't get references. It's not for them, and it will never be for them unless they. And that's fine, right? So because it's done properly in that way, everything's serviced, including things like, at least in the original version, it'd be, Geordie's wife being Leah Brahms, etc., etc., getting the... so many elements of fun. And adding to Farpoint's fun. Because even though it's not real, any of it, per se, you still add it mentally to the canon. So that you are seeing new to the old.
It is funny seeing them play, like, going back to season 1. And just that look is kind of jarring when you go back to it.
But thank God they committed thank God the uniforms look so different, because had they not done a uniform swap, there'd be no visible difference. Yeah. Really. But because of that, it's such a nice, tangible, thrice difference. So part 1, excellent. I mean, often with these things, the setup is funner. It gets to play with the formula. They're less intent on fixing the problems. They get to play. So seeing Beverly, Picard, those scenes, all the stuff at Professor Geordie, Professor thing. I mean, had they known First Contact or Prodigy, it would have been nice. They had, actually future uniforms, not just. I mean, I'm gonna look at Riker's uniform, just another TNT. They're kind of a hybrid of things, but the actual canon uniform would have been fun. But part 1, we're gonna give it the setup.
It's an S.
So you don't think the scene, the epic start to your two-parter, Worf and Deanna's love story.
Ah, yeah, that's kind of shite. That's what makes it a low S.
Okay, low S it is. And then part 2.
And I say that because I think part 2 is way better. The whole concept of his brand new crew having to trust his decisions that seem incredibly stupid, and they don't know each other, I think is a dramatic high. And there's just, and seeing future grumpy Worf and future grumpy Riker, and getting a Daedalus class, although not Daedalus class, it's the Olympic class. There's some really good stuff, and I like part 2 better. The build-up is great, but I think part 2 is a better payoff to see like the multiple enterprises getting destroyed, and I just love that this brand new crew that was just brought together, and he's got to use them like he's known them for 7 years, and they have to follow along with that, like kind of blindly. Like, is this captain insane? And also, nobody thinking that the old Picard's quite there either, because he's got aromatic syndrome, so nobody trusts him. It's kind of the reverse of the situation in the past. It's a very good, like, mirrored narrative, and I think it's really fun. And it's very dense. I think part 2 is very dense as well. And the time jumps they hit so fast and hard. It's kind of jarring a little bit, because he'll be in the past, he'll turn, and as he turns, he's saying something to somebody in the future. It's really great. Plus the visuals of the Galaxy X, cutting apart Klingon ships with its phaser lance. Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff in part 2. I prefer part 2 to the setup, honestly, and that's kind of rare for me. I usually enjoy like the setups, the stories, as opposed to the payoffs. So
yeah, my only thing on part 2 is that they dwell a lot on the negativity of the future. I know it sets a tone, but given this is not real and it doesn't play anything later, they commit a lot of time to Picard senile. You know, I mean, it's a lot of sadness, whereas part 1 is more about the fun, the joy, the build-up. So while there's a lot of good stuff, they have a lot more negative scenes that pull it down, at least emotionally in tone, but they're meant to, right? But then, as you say, the ending is just insane, big and bold, and incredibly good editing for what is, you know, right, Tuesday we're going to film scenes 1, 3B, 4F, and just, okay, right, okay, we're going to shoot this scene, and then day 2, right, and it works flawlessly. It's incredibly well done, but it's really thought, energy, editing. That's a hell of a thing to do.
And this is an amazing way to have a galaxy destroying, like, impactful threat. To have this thing that goes back in time to the point where humans didn't form from the slime and the goo. I think it's way more impactful than a doomsday weapon type situation that kind of happens every season on Discovery. This is really well thought out. This is really a masterclass, I think, in writing and just finales in general.
Although that said, I never quite get the stakes in this one, because Q could stop it at any time. Of course he could use Q. And he's trying to help Picard fix it. But if the thing is truly... If this is a real situation, this normally exists for 100 years, or, 50 years. So all the other ships in the middle would have found it, maybe, it's not logical to have only 3 time periods be able to see it. So it's always kind of, to me, sort of a tapestry. There's a little bit of a time bubble of Q.
It's part of the trial. It's Q's test.
Yeah, well,
it's all Q created and all Q influenced.
That's what I mean. So you say Galaxy stakes. I never feel any stakes in this episode, because I don't. It's a bubble concept, which is wonderful. I mean, also, as soon as you start killing Enterprise at the end, there's no stakes. Especially as you're killing, the past first, which means the middle dies already. You know what I mean? It's meant to be fun. So I wouldn't say stakes is true. But yeah, in the end is damn.
But just having the humans, or Picard at least, evolve to the point where they can think that way about time in such a obtuse way is very, very interesting.
Although having to give them a cheat code of 3 different universes to control at the same time is a bit of a... Although you get a bit of a cheat code. How they actually had to invent a way of going back in time and tell this in a non-linear way, but being able to send And I've always wondered, is Picard actually acting as Picard or future Picard in the scenes where he's not transitioning between himself? Because as soon as he goes out of one body to the other, is that Picard now young Picard? Again. In which case he's like, what's happening?
Good question.
Because they're only happening at the same time, but he moves between scenes, between episodes, between scenes. It's definitely a really high concept, don't think about it too hard kind of one. And then it ends on the most perfect shot. I mean, you talk about the most low-key...
Yep.
You could have cut anywhere. Let's just play, literally and figuratively. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is absolutely an S as well. I think it's a little higher than the first part for me, but...
I think they're just one piece. I don't think I've ever seen it as two parts. Unlike Best of Both Worlds, which actually is between seasons. This has always been just a watch it as one experience. I actually define the middle point, because I've never seen it as two parts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so absolutely an S. And do you agree that this is like how to do a series finale, like properly?
Well, for a sci-fi show that can do this clever stuff, it'd be hard to do it for Call Midwife or The Bill. Okay, it's in Bill. Yeah, especially a show with this much fan love, where part of it is a journey. Very nice. All right, next.
Classic for real, $5. Homeward. It's the episode where Sisko's future wife, Cassidy Yates, meets Worf for the first time. And his human brother, too. Dismissing Kern. Dang it.
Which I didn't realise she was in it until I re-skimmed for this.
So is it actually Cassidy Yates, or is it just the actress?
Well, no, just the actress. Yeah. She's on the random planet. I've always liked the idea of this episode. I've never quite got it, because I haven't seen it since I was young. But I liked that his adopted half-brother, let's just introduce him all of a sudden, calls upon Worf, who then gets to be in no makeup, which is really great to see Dawn just be this other alien. Love it. And they kidnap, capture Baku, hollow ship, steal the inhabitants of a ship. The brother forces them to kidnap them, so they're on a holodeck, but can only go so far, and then they... Yeah. I like the premise... But you can't first contact them, and good casting the brother, not too super dramatic, but good enough. But I don't remember much about how the small stuff, even beyond those big things. Again, doesn't do anything that particularly raises super high, but a great concept, and very very similar, obviously, to the Proto Vulcan, and inspiration pulls from this conceptually, and it is fun. We'll go over this ridge and we'll find a new colony. Beam. Look, we're over this ridge now. Finally, different planet. Yeah, it's fine. What? Why are the stars different? Why is the water taste different? Different ridge. Oh no, never go back to where we lived because it's not there anymore.
I like the idea of tricking these people and using the holodeck to relocate them. I think that's really quite interesting.
Great idea.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of specific memories from this one, except for the brother and Worf wearing that knitted cowl thing. But
Michael's easiest makeup ever.
Yep. But no, I love the idea. I love the concept of it. It's one of those things you had a half brother. Well,
it would have been better as a season 5 episode, because it feels like it doesn't have time to breathe. In terms of introducing another brother or a brother.
Yeah.
I know it's clever, but it's not as sharp as it should have been. Although a lot of outside stuff, which I commend them. This season has a lot of outside, as you'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say for me, this is a high C, low B. Again, for this season, it's definitely a bit better than average of the season. Because good concept, good acting, good pace, I recall. Just nothing amazing. Except the concept and some of the small stuff that I do remember.
Yeah, okay. I think a C for me, because it's not one that really sticks with me too much. Oh, I don't have the visual up.
Oh, God damn it. And just the idea that they're in the holodeck and it's breaking, and there's a limit to a holodeck, even though it's amazing. And there is a rule set. It's clever. I like the starting to push the edge of what you can do. Yeah.
27 likes, guys. That's great. Let's hit 30 though. Got 34 people here.
And 10 more votes. Let's get to 50 votes. I want to see.
Yes.
No, Dan Ben, they never did, because they didn't invent it until then. I would have liked to have seen his mum or his dad in this episode, though.
Yes.
That, I think, would have elevated it a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
All right. About what?
The ranking, where are you going to place it?
I'm going to put it as a C, I think.
Okay. So I
I'd have to go back and rewatch it for dialogue and stuff, but...
Uh-huh. Yeah, because we need to start to get some less good episodes in to see the contrast factor, because these are all more distinct episodes, and then we're going to start to get in the middling ones.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Schmobuddy, $5. Preemptive Strike, some behind-the-scenes Maquis activity, and all the ships swarming the galore.
Yes.
Preemptive Strike.
Which is the let's DS9 before DS9. Let's get rid of Ro. Let's introduce other things. And then have Ro's actual turn against Riker, full on with no take backsies. And we're just full on committing to the Cardassian stuff. And as I said in the episode we did about the ships, the Cardassian captain they save in this is a captain that's chasing Cisco, chasing Chakotay at the start of Farpoint. He's actually in 3. He puts on a bit of weight and then appears in like season 2 of DS9 as well. Or yeah, in DS9 as well. And Chayev's last TNG appearance.
Most memorable thing for this one for me is the turn of Ro at the end and her conversation with Picard in the bar.
Very sexually charged.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't remember a goddamn thing about it.
Well, it's Maquis and Ro. These are 2 factors that pull it out of your memory.
Yes, because I hate both those things.
Well, I had to rewatch this recently in the last 6 months for a film with Nick, because that takes place in Caretaker, and this is quite close to it. So I did rewatch it, and it's interesting how they pull back characters either from this or into this from the DS9 episode with similar tone. So there is a somewhat of a continuity between the different Maquis. It's good. It really changes the tone. It humanizes them. Ro is going into their midst, of course, because every freedom fighter is a terrorist. Every terrorist is a freedom fighter. 2 sides, la la la. But yeah, the old man, the dad she never had, is a lovely character actor. Really well done. It's so genuine. It's obviously meant to be. For when he dies, it's really heartbreaking. The commitment to different, Shulls is fun. The plans is fun. The fact that Ro is able to trick them because she sort of does believe what she's doing, but as an audience, when she's still on our side, but playing, and then we know when she turns. It's kind of obvious, but in a good way, because she plays all the parts as you would want to see, and see them kind of steal stuff from the Enterprise is fun and interesting, and yes, it's a strong little character piece with very little Enterprise as I'm scrolling. And then, a gropey Picard scene is very, very intense.
Yeah, scrolling through it, it's a lot of kind of ugly color palette as well with this planet.
I mean, Maquis.
I know.
I mean, poor, displaced people on the edges of space. I mean, this is, just trying to live their life.
Yeah.
Until the end, when there's a really good twist of, Ro seen for 3 years, genuinely betrays Riker, and the end it's heartbreaking to Picard. The protege who he put all his, faith in line for, but he can understand it, but also he thought she'd do her duty to the greater good, and at the end they don't take out the Maquis because it would be a big blow. But nope. I get Peregrine's first time.
She does come back. She does get back into Starfleet somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah,
so for written wise and political wise, it's darn strong.
Yeah, I remember that. But
so it's gonna have to be a B, because this is definitely better than the C.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but for what it's trying to do, and as a DS9 prequel, it's doing so much heavy lifting for DS9 to add to that, which not my favorite thing for it to be doing, but it's good to have. And certainly, you watch Maquis stories back to back, it's like, damn, this is, yeah. Don't love it, and had I not seen it recently, I wouldn't have given that a score, but it's a good episode.
Okay. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm sorry, I don't have much to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Schmo Buddy, $5. Genesis. Genesis? Yes, Genesis. Just a fun episode, and Barkley gets his own disease.
Oh, yes.
Just going to find the picture for it. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun idea. Very, very good visuals. You'll learn a little bit about some Klingon things, I guess.
Maybe you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is, when you scientifically break this one down, this is not how evolution works. We don't have any spider DNA in our fucking human genome. That's just dumb. So for these people to be
but when we're that advanced, Stuart, we can find it.
Maybe. Okay, if you're gonna play that card. That's usually the point, the thing that I say. Stuff like that.
I'm just really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good visuals, a lot of creepiness going on. It's definitely got an eerie kind of... What's that?
What's the one called again, sorry? Oh, Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah,
Genesis. How can you be deaf with ears like that? Anyway. Yeah, but it's got a creepy atmosphere, a creepy vibe. It's kind of one of their darker, like, horror story kind of things. You got dark corridors on the Enterprise. You got Worf trying to bust through a door. A lot of creepy body horror type stuff going on. It's kind of like the Enterprise gets turned into a haunted house, essentially. And thank God nurse, whatever her name is,
Ogawa,
was pregnant, because that's what saves the day. I love Picard getting more skittish during the episode. Plays really well. And again, thank God they had Data too, because how many times does Data come in handy?
Right, everyone, you get fucked up this week. Brent, just play it cool. I can do that. Nothing different. Yeah. I don't get to be a proto android. No, Brent. but whatever her name is, gets to be a frog. It's like, yes, I know. You're a robot, Data. Well, I measure myself as a person. Oh yeah, Mr. Brent, funny man. Yeah. Quality-wise, where do you think it... I mean, I'll give my spiel. Quality-wise, where does it go in your brain? Because it's a very different episode as I'm scrolling.
It is a very different episode. Quality-wise, science fiction-wise, it's great. It's definitely not your typical TNG episode, just because it is like a haunted house, which is an oddity. But it's a really good episode. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I think it would probably be, for me, I'd probably put this one at a B for entertainment and for... But I don't want to put it ahead of stuff like, Preemptive Strike, which is superbly written. This is more visual than anything else, I think, for the creepiness.
But I mean, aiming for less but achieving more within that is often better than going for big and then half it failing, right? Some of these reviews have said half the episode is amazing, half is let down. Well, so anyway, my thoughts. It's so memorably until you realise that you forget most of it. I'm scrolling.
Yes, that's true.
Concept, yes. End, yes. Tone, yes. But all the small things I forgot. But I'm remembering as I go. Like, well, do I? Barclay looks a lot older in this episode for some reason. Like his hair's receding. Possibly, yeah. But his hair's receding and he kind of looks older. But I like, as I'm scrolling, the fact that everyone's cluing in. There's hints for the first third. Everyone's getting weirder. That's cool. And I like Worf as a villain. That's really unusual. Mike is going to be the baddie this week. Is very fun. And it's just weird. Oh yeah, Worf yells venom into Beverly's face. It's a harsh visual. I never liked that. And then you get the amazing visual of the Enterprise, being the haunted house of the guys just returning. Very, very, very much like Voyager with Macrovirus. Mm-hmm. And they dock and the ship's literally turning, which is such a silly visual. I have to ruin the sets with lights, and it's very effective. Very, very, very effective.
We've got cobwebs, we got slime on the walls. It's very haunted housey.
But is it because perhaps they can't mess the sets up too much, or
But
because
they can. It's the end of the series.
well they can yeah I guess they can do it more than they would last year. But there's something missing about how I mean it's literally dark, but it's not as gritty as a real horror film. I almost feel like if this had been a move like a TV movie of TNG, it would have been better because you could have done
Probably
that little bit more. Something about it to elevate it because it's clearly good, but I'm not excited about it. A lot of these I'm like that's really good, but it's damn solid, some great ideas, but it never quite. Although damn that makeup of Not Ogawa is kind of crazy.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah, the makeup like Westmore must have been worked to the bone on this one.
oh I'm torn.
Well, for me, I think it's probably a B just for my enjoyment factor of it. I don't think it's A worthy. I think it's better than C, quality.
Well, it's something you'd said last time that you know I liked it more. It's not his favourite, but you appreciate it's well written. I think this is definitely one that might not be our favourite, but we appreciate how well it's made. So it should be a B.
Yes.
And damn creative, right? Some of these are not going to be this creative, unless maybe they are, and we just underestimate the season. Let's find out.
Yes.
Interesting.
All right, Ray Rex, £5.
Ray!
Okay, I'll also add Parallels. Parallels is great.
Another Worf centric. That's 3 Worf centric. Although him being a villain for one is.
Yeah. Parallels is fantastic. I love alternate reality stuff. The little visuals of the different realities that he's popping into, and then of course the visual of all the Enterprises. Haggard Riker. Please help us. The Borg have taken over. Oh my god! And then the ship blows up.
Ouch.
Yeah. And just the little changes, like to the trophy and which place he came in, all that subtlety, I think is really well. It's not really subtle, but you know what I mean. I just have to scroll through real quick to see if there's anything. But yeah, this is absolutely one of my favorite episodes of TNG.
So a C then? There. You think you're gonna?
Well,
maybe I don't want to spoil it. Maybe it's a C. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. No, it's cool seeing Worf in red. It's cool seeing him and Deanna together. At least it makes sense here, which sometimes translates over to the last episode for some reason.
Well, I assume this is the setup. Because there's one episode where there's kind of a setup. This is to show Worf it's possible, because it did happen once. And therefore, Best of Both Worlds, no, All Good Things, is the payoff to this. But we as the fans are like, huh? Because I assume they were aiming to continue this in the movie, and then realised it didn't work, and so didn't.
Yeah.
I've always got that impression, like, oh yeah, this is the way we should go. And then I was like, no, don't do that.
There's like a small subtle byline through the suit, like he asked her to be the godmother for Alexander, but still.
Yeah.
No, this just alternate realities is always awesome, and to see that they actually have a life together, him and Diana, is really kind of cool. But
yeah, his skittishness is so adorable. This brave Klingon warrior. Don't touch me. What?
Even see him with his hair down. She's messing with his hair. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's L'Oreal.
Yes.
And also the subtle changes, or just the changes to the bridge, having Wesley come back. There's some really
the least important
stuff.
Cameo possible. Like he's barely in it, but the fact that he is like a yes. You paid him money. He came back. Good guys. Yeah, I've always this is one that my parents put on regularly because it's just fun.
Yeah.
And it has sort of small stakes. I love the initial 3 scenes. The very Worf champion, the fact that it paid off later, the fact that he won his championship the first time. By the end, it isn't his universe. He didn't win, but it's close enough, I guess. He doesn't have the same trophy, and he doesn't have the party, so it's not his universe. It's confusing, but also sweet, but also sad. And I love Riker's acting at the start, no party, there's a party, it's so sweet and adorable and everyone's there and it's so real, it's almost as if they as the cast would do that for them. It's that level of, it's not sci-fi, it's just party. It's so real. And so seeing them not acting, is just really, really fun. I loved his painting. I love the cake. And then to have it pay off is very wonderful for these first few little bits.
No, he did win at the end. He won champion standing, same as at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But to have that
I was going to say, like, just to end up in the close enough universe is like, wow, that's disconcerting.
Yeah, I thought that was that. Yeah, and to have more Cardassians. They love Cardassians the final season. It's such a gentle plot. I think they put out all the old, reuse. We changed our bridge a bit, set pieces for the different universes. Just like, we got that in storage. We'll put it back in. The Troy stuff's really lovely. Dr. Ogawa. Yay if she has lines. Cardassian on the bridge. That was fun in one of the universes. Love the... and these are the pips. I forgot these are the pips from the fake universe, which makes them... they are canon in a universe.
Yeah, the future imperfect ones, yeah.
Although they're wearing both the pip and the non-pip, which kind of makes it a bit redundant, but that's okay. Yeah, it's like gentle fun, isn't it? It's a really character-based story. It's not taking too big, too bold, just enough to kind of, play the beat.
And just Worf's acting in this is great. His confusion, it's his all good things is what it is.
No, I am right. It isn't his universe because there's no party.
There's no party. She's got a gift for him.
Yeah, but in his universe there was a full party. So it isn't his universe by like this much to the left. Because there's no time travel involved. He's just resetting to a universe.
But he still won the tournament. That's what's important.
That is, yeah. And he's kind of flirting with a lady. Yeah, this is absolutely nice because it is just so refined. It's not big, it's not bold, but it's clever, fun, interesting, and does what you need to do. And this is a crazy shot, which I did steal for an episode of Trek Shorts. I mean, I did my own, like, put 30 other Enterprises, but I did steal the background plate. Yeah, this is one of my favourite style of episodes for TNG.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where are we at with our poll? We have 44. Okay, 45 votes, and we'll swap the poll, guys. So one more vote. Vote in the poll. That vote might be able to turn the tide. You never know. That's not... I don't know math, right? So maybe. Vote now.
I don't know math.
Well, I will say they could have gone more radical with this had they a bit more money. Imagine, like, a few more twists and Captain Achaev coming back and being the captain. Jellicoe being the captain, right? They could have pushed it way funner.
Yeah. More
of a best of both worlds, like all good things kind of pull back legacies. I mean, Captain Jellicoe would have been pretty fun, actually.
Yeah.
That'd have been. There's anything, right? But they could have had... I mean, Tasha would have pulled away from the last episode, but that would have been obvious. Maybe Captain Tasha. Right, sorry, Denise, we killed you. Now you're captain of one episode. Cool!
Or First Officer Clancy. The sheer fucking hubris.
Oh, that would have been... Yes! Oh... Yeah, Captain Riker, First Officer, yes. Oh.
Yeah, something like that.
Wait, no. I mean, you mean Clancy, or do you mean from Best of Both Worlds herself?
Oh, Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby. That's what I thought you meant.
No, I meant Clancy, the sheer fucking hubris.
Hadn't invented her yet, but that would have been really fun.
I know.
But Shelby would have been great, though. Second in command, Shelby.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, we're 45. Okay, what is the weakest season TNG? Stonking victory, season 2. With 76%. Okay. Next poll coming.
All right. And yeah, hit like, guys. 32 likes is awesome, but 40 would be even better. So another 8 likes. If you're just joining us and haven't hit like yet, please do. There will be a poll in a second, so go vote on that. And let us know your episodes that you want to talk about. All right. While he's doing the poll, Olivia threw in $1 for the future slap from future Captain Foley. So thank you, Olivia.
You really have to send a message to future you. Kind of, it's really hard, future you.
At least he didn't say punch. If you had said punch, that might have been a different story altogether. Mark Lawrence, though, $5. Phantasms. Jordy answers a phone call on his Android. Yep, with unlimited data. Where's the visual for that one? Oh, there it is. Is that this one?
Nope, that's the train.
That's what I thought it was. Okay.
Let's see. Phantasms is... Yes, the peptide cake.
Oh, okay.
He talks to Sigmund Freud and stabs her. And I can't remember the... Is it just an alien that's talking to Data?
I don't know. I'm going to have to skim through because I can't recall off the top of my head.
Very similar to the last time Data dreamed, which in fairness, having just remembered this, he's dreaming again. That's why it's the same. So that's really nice. The miners destroying the Enterprise is really fun, very iconic in its own sort of ridiculous way. He makes a noise and, yeah, pretty fun.
Crusher drinking from Riker's head.
Yep. Oh yes, I remember. He turns on the Dream Protocol every night. Yeah. Which, I mean, great continuity. And it all kind of means something. It's all symbolic, you know. There's an alien on Troy. That's why he stabs her, and that's the reveal later. Freud's great. Really, really nice.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. The effect of the Data phone is really well done, considering.
Yep, this is another one I can't remember a lot of the subtleties for. I thought the miners tearing apart the Enterprise was part of the train one. That's why I pulled that in.
It's all clues as to what's happening. Aliens are inside the Enterprise and infecting people. That's a damn good digital effect on Picard's face as well. Yeah, aliens be infecting people, and you can see them subconsciously. I think is the trick.
Oh yeah. Kind of reminds me of the Voyager episode where people are on board.
Yeah, for sure.
Using them as lab rats, kind of vibe.
Or less negativity. Oh gosh, and she ends up with a cake of him that he has to cut because he cut her with a cake. That's kind of harsh. I remember this is a good mystery, good acting. It's meant to be confusing and weird, and it is confusing and weird, because that's the point. But it is a good payoff. Some fun little scenes. Brent's great in it, but not because he's doing some big way, because he's doing some small stuff way.
Mm-hmm.
I would vote really high C, but doesn't dip into B unless you think the iconic visuals get into B.
I think the weirdness might get it into B for a sci-fi.
It is weird.
Story. I didn't want to say B because seeing the thing with the light on Riker's face, there's some creepy stuff going on there.
And I think this is the same admiral from as an Asian admiral at minute 19, which I believe is the same guy from the Measure of Man. Let me see. Which if it is, I did not know he came back. Because there's two admirals. Yeah, looks like the same guy, but notably younger. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, cool. Because I remember being really short.
Yeah.
So even though he's on the screen, I'm like, he's really short. How do I know? Because he did another episode.
Kind of reminds me of the guy from Kim's Convenience.
Oh,
He's also in Mandalorian.
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Look at that continuity. Very nice.
Yeah. All right.
Go for a low B.
Okay. Yeah, this one just visually is discombobulating a little bit.
Yeah. I'd love to know what we think in a rewatch, because I think we'll have thoughts.
Mm-hmm. We usually do have thoughts.
Hopefully.
Come on. Line up. There we go. It's fine.
So the next poll is about parallels.
Ooh.
8 votes so far. Is parallels in your top 10 episodes of TNG, top 20, top 30, or not a fave? I assume be on top 10 just, maybe, probably.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be close.
Probably if you compress things top 10 stories, then obviously 2 parts become 1 part in that list.
Yeah.
Or do you think it'd be like a 12 or 13 kind of placement?
It's funny you said that because I was just thinking it might hit like 12 because I'm not quite sure. That's a list we should probably make someday.
Yeah, as soon as you start throwing Enterprise, and it's like, well, that's 7 already.
Yep, exactly.
All right, next.
Olivia, $5. up the Pegasus. It's transphasic and I'm transgender. We're one and the same, I guess. Sure, we can move that up. I think Pegasus going up to A is perfectly acceptable, honestly.
We had our lines, and so just heading into that maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, it was close. So
that's close. Sometimes we don't want to be too biased with shippy techie ones.
Yeah, I'll even put the arrow on it because those are the rules. We don't make the rules.
I always say that.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Sean O'Sullivan, €2. Scottish Candle Love Story. Yes, some Rosa. Yes, indeed. Is it offensively Scottish though? Like, I don't know.
I don't think Nick is skittish like that. He's also not Scottish, so I guess there's no right to say he's actually Arabic.
Yeah.
He's an Arab Englishman, despite being Scottish, living in Scotland. As you do.
Classic for real, $2. All good things. Section 31, Red Lady, Garrett, and Giorgio.
I agree with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Classic for real, $2. Section 31, Trials, easy. Just get my phone. I mean, tricorder. Yes.
I told someone the other day I'm not even gonna try and build that prop, and they were like, "Oh, you build every prop." I'm like,
Did somebody's name start with an M?
no.
Okay. Because something a conversation you had with Matt. That's all.
Oh no. It's like, who I know the M. So yeah.
Mark Lawrence, member for 61 months at Federation Council. You, sir, are heart and soul. Could have used the USS Mimeo for transporting those people from their doomed planet. Yeah.
Of course, means the Mimeo from the Trek short recently released called To Know Thine Enemy. Yes. Which we include a holoship, Mimeo, which he named. It's true. I'll have to write some sort of story sometime where we can kidnap people. I mean, help people.
Classic for real, $5. Interface, where Geordi looks into the panel and we see he's been replaced by a probe.
Yes.
Also, we're introduced to a New Orleans class captain.
We are? Ah. Did not remember that. Well, that's cool.
This is not ringing any bells.
Yes, when Geordie connects his visor to his bodysuit, he wears, and his mum he talks to.
Yep. Just say that part.
But it isn't.
Then I would have remembered. Yeah.
Okay, which one's that one? This is interface. Okay. This one, I remember the concept, but I'm always confused about what actually happens in it. But it's great to see Geordie without visor. That is always really, really fun. And seeing him walk through a non-normal ship, which is fun. And the idea is amazing. You know, a ship is lost in the middle of I believe, some sort of vortex. They can signal through.
It's a gas giant, I believe.
Yeah.
Like it's so far down. Yeah, and the ship pulled aliens down with it. And they're trying to contact Geordi to help them. But they're using the guise of his mother, reaching out to him even though his mother's long since dead because none of the crew could have survived. And yeah, he's holding out hope that she's alive, of course. Really great suit, which I'm sure Playmates made a action figure of Geordi wearing because that's what Playmates does. Or did back in the day.
I like this one because I love seeing non-hero ship sets. Because they can't just be redresses of existing Galaxy class because that's not quite the vibe. So I like seeing how they do that. And when you know they're going to spend a lot of time in those sets, they can actually put a bit of time in. It's like in season 1 when you see the corridor of Miranda, it's not one of the main corridors. But it's obviously a redress something else, blah, blah, blah. Which I like. And yeah, the fact that Geordie's so resound to, he knows in his brain, his soul, it's not her. But he's seeing her, he's working with, and the fact that she's, the captain of the Saratoga must clearly link into his brain somewhere. She's so famous. My mum and the Saratoga captain. Two different captains in Starfleet. I'm pretty sure it's her. Pretty sure. And you risk their own life to fix the ship, and it's sad in its own kind of way.
Yeah, but it's a really good story. I love that everybody's trying to talk him
down,
convincing him that his mother's dead. He's just being overly hopeful. But he's like, weird things have happened. Trust me, this is her. She's reaching out to me. She needs help. And then to the point where even Data's like, we're not supposed to be doing this, but I'm going to help you. I'm going to pull the plug at a certain point, though.
Well, yeah, by the end, it's just him wanting to help someone in need, right? Irrespective of being the mum or not. I think this episode, though, suffers from no exterior shots. Right? It's an unknown ship in unknown ways. It desperately needs scrolling. Cut back to ship. Sense of tension, because it's always just set to set to set. It lost something in translation, I think.
I do remember enjoying it because it's another one I saw not that long ago, and it's a lot, one of those ones that I don't remember a lot with the specifics of. So rewatching, it was kind of like watching a new episode a little bit. Like I knew the generalities, but
this is definitely a C. Good, but not great.
Yeah.
Definitely a C.
Oh shit! I didn't even put a picture in for it. God damn it!
Like I said, needed some shots of the exterior. Could definitely have done with seeing the probe, the physical probe, which again, shots had they had that 10 years later, Voyager, easy CGI to do, would have been a problem. They could have done that, would have done that, but it's claustrophobic. Need a bit more of the extra the variance, or cutting from real Geordie to probe Geordie, to kind of give that contrast. I think would have been important.
But good use of the laboratory set, like where we see from Best of Both Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I love that set, and they don't use it as often as I think they should necessarily. But
Lal welcome to the universe set.
Yeah.
Enterprise C redress. Woo.
Yes.
So
see it is.
All right. Next.
Hold on 1 second.
Yes.
Slides is being funny. All right. Classic for real, $5. Eye of the Beholder, one of the most classic episodes of all of sci-fi. Turns out they're all pigs. The normal-looking people are the ugly ones. That is Twilight Zone, but okay.
This is the murder one. This is the inside the Galaxy class's nacelle, which is an amazing idea. And someone gets murdered and put in the ship, and she senses their death row. And it's a Troy episode, and it's a not our word Troy episode. She's using a skill that's entirely her, and yet it's super unmemorable. I don't know why, even though it has a few things that are memorable. Most I don't like this kind of episode, a murder plot, and they did this literally the same thing in Voyager, right? But conceptually, it's cool. I don't think it hits as well as it should have. I don't know how they could have changed it, but something about it. Maybe they could have gone darker, but the networks won't let them. I don't know.
Maybe, but yeah, this is an interesting one, murder mystery-wise, and got some creepiness going on with the one guy. But seeing them in the cell control room is also very cool.
Also, to point out, Troy and Worf are making out. So this is their next level. They got together. It's crazy.
Where is the picture for this one? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I don't know. I love a good murder mystery and all that, but
this isn't.
This has something about a body in the ship that was hidden there.
Yeah, because you're sensing the mental trace left over, so way of hiding it. It's just not a best murder mystery. There are much better ones in Trek, let alone in TV. So the idea is great, but it's like a whodunit. If the whodunit doesn't quite hit, then it's like, oh, okay. As it just doesn't hit in a way that it should do. And that's always the problem with the serialized thing. They're introducing new people. One of them did it, but if they're not really good, the guest actors, it's like Suter from Voyager. He's a better guest actor who owns that part better. This guy's fine, but doesn't have the same hit.
So is this a C or a D?
No, it's a C. Yeah, it's just, nothing particularly bad about it. Just, and many good things about it. I just think it's not quite as strong as it should have been.
Mm. It's not one people instantly think of. That's for sure.
But hey, if you love the Worf Deanna's plot, this is that one.
Yes.
Huzzah!
Saka has spoken.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
What do people think about this one?
Classic for real, $5. Masks. The episode where Data puts on a mask and gets superpowers and turns green, and also into Jim Carrey for some reason. Oh my god. I think Masks is underrated. A lot of people really kind of shit on Masks.
A lot of people should.
And I think it's actually a pretty enjoyable episode. I love the idea of this floating city that they find. There's some really interesting sci-fi things going on here, and being able to, it's kind of like, it's almost like Inner Light a little bit, where you don't
Outer Light.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think this one is definitely shows off Brent's acting abilities again. I mean, how many people has he played throughout this? Wow.
Yeah.
I just need to find it so I can scroll through it and get a refresher.
It's also somewhat like the DS9 episode where the Trill put different Daxes in people.
Yeah.
Because they're all quite well portrayed. So each one, so obviously Brent as Data plays different gods, different part of the characters of this mythos, and each one is very, very distinct. And he's all of them. And each one is the entire story, and they have to talk to each one. So, it's silly, but they commit fully to the bit, which keeps it grounded.
Yeah.
Because it is serious, and it makes sense. And as they see in Lower Decks, the thing is transforming the ship, which leads to some pretty fun visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very intriguing kind of mythological type story, learning the mythology of this lost civilization. At the ship started transforming. That's kind of an odd part for me, but
well, it escalates. Obviously, it's like if we don't solve this problem, we did. Yeah, this is a silly one, but there are so many more silly episodes if you think about it. I mean, surely. I mean the hotel casino
Royale,
also really silly. It's just grounded in what we know. You could also argue finding bodies lost in space and tubes, and now one's a cowboy and one's a. It's also silly. It's just played more serious. So this is silly, but it's because the alien race is weird, but weird to us. This is why I have nothing against it from that perspective. I think the acting is excellent. I don't remember anything except the main plot, but is there anything but the main plot? If that makes sense. Like, is there a B plot? I don't even know if you need one, right?
I don't think there is in this one, no.
And also very, very early CGI, because that base is actually a 3D model, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely okay. I mean, I won't go lower than a C, but I think B is probably a bit generous.
Yeah, I think B is too much.
Acting higher, but I think, it's a bit too silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
C is...
very happy C. Like, I like it more. Maybe I like the Wolf's Brother one more because the before. Well, that's grounded acting versus silly acting, but both very good in their own way.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Masks than the one with Horse Brother, if I'm honest. Yeah. More of a sci-fi concept going on.
But also, you learn more about the character. I mean, you learn nothing about them in Masks because it's not him, right?
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, classic for real, $5. Dark Page. I believe it's the one where the EMH helps that one Vidian he's in love with cure the phage on Voyager. Oh, that's phage, not page. Oops.
Couldn't even bother to Google something. Jeez. Yes, Kirsten Dunst is one of her first roles.
Oh,
the movie star from. Boy, this is sad. This is Troy's long lost dead first sister, who is reminded of by this other kissing dunce and psycho brain powers. Really dark Troy episode. Again.
Yes. And only remembered by me for Kirsten Dunst, because I recognize her from other things. And yes, uncovering you had a sister, and then your mom talking about her. I mean, it's not a good one in my opinion.
I mean, for me, this has always been brutal, because Majel is amazing in this. She's so unlike Loxana, but that's because it's the worst subject material for a mum ever. And it's amazing. If you for drama, right? And the catharsis, because I think she's lost her own brain because she's so sad. It's like a mind prison, and Beverly Diana to go in. But the fact that you get to meet her dad for the first time, and in Monster Maroon, you must love that, because it doesn't matter their ages really. Their parents were going to be in the Monster Maroon era. That's just how long those things went for, right? With a shirt underneath, polo shirts, all good. At least there's some shirt, which is pretty great. I think so it's a family, right, of telepaths. I think it's the dad that's deliberately messing with Loxana to heal her. He thinks he's doing it for the right reason, but it's causing her loads of pain. But then the catharsis at the end is obviously better. But he's like, I'm sorry, I thought breaking her brain was going to help by reminding her of her dead daughter. It's like, yeah, great. Thanks for that mind torture. But catharsis. Ouch. Right?
Yeah. I'd forgotten all about her dad being in this with Monster Maroon.
Can you imagine going from Loxana this to her pink hair in DS9? Like, the acting here versus the weird shit in that. God damn, right? But do everything, I was married to the boss. Do everything.
For me, this is probably a D, just because it's dark and depressing, and I don't remember any of it.
I'm going straight to C. I think this is as good, if not better, than the one with the murder. No, this is definitely better than the murder one. Like, it's not fun, but it's not trying to be. But the bits it gets right, it gets super right. Yeah. And a good Troy episode.
They do exist.
Season 7. Just took in. I forgot he's in his uniform. That's great. Love the canon, guys. Love the canon.
Okay, classic for real, $10. Gambit's part 1 and 2. I love Gambit. He's my favorite X-Men. It's awesome when he teams up with Professor Xavier to something, and Gandalf the Grey or something.
Okay, your favorite quote from Gambit is, of course, oh, it's not as fun with that accent. Damn it, I was going to quote a thing from Deadpool Wolverine, but it's all actually in English. It's the accent that makes it weird. Ignore me. Alright, Gambit's 1 and 2.
I shot out my daddy's penis and said, "What's up?" Is that
Gambit,
the quote?
That's the second part, Stuart. What about the first part first?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have them both on screen.
Yes, absolutely.
Gambit...
Episode 4 and 5, two-parter right out the gate. What a weird thing to do.
Yeah. And this could have been one episode, is all I'm saying.
Should have been.
So yeah, it starts up Picard. They think he's dead. He got killed in a bar doing some undercover work. So they're all upset. They're trying to trace who did it. And they get captured, or Riker gets abducted. And we find out that he's actually undercover. He's looking for this artifact that Galen is looking for. And we get Savick there, but not Savick.
Romulan this time. Just not half Romulan, full Romulan.
Yeah.
Playing a Vulcan? Or is she playing Is she a Vulcan? Is she Romulan playing a Vulcan? I think she is. Maybe. Sorry.
Regardless.
Yeah.
It's an interesting 2 episodes. I'll say that. I like the idea of the weapon, that it actually uses violent emotions to destroy things.
Correct.
So yeah, you have to calm your mind.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, the piece of the New Vulcan Age made it pointless.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of infighting between the crew because they're a team of mercenaries, and a lot of like alliances being made behind the scenes to go against the captain, but yet not. I love the interactions between Riker and Picard. It's like, he's a bad Starfleet officer and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's I don't know why this was a two-parter. That boggles my mind. This is a one episode story.
Okay. It's not good. That's the problem.
Good.
On paper, the summary is Captain Picard goes undercover as Galen, an archaeologist guy, in a renegade mercenary ship and tries to find an ancient Vulcan-Romulan hybrid weapon from the past. Awesome. What do you get? Not amazing acting from the main cast of these aliens. You get a really badly redressed, cheap-looking Enterprise C bridge that doesn't feel big enough to fit. It feels cheap and small and doesn't fit the exterior.
TOS screens, which is cool.
That is cool. None of the cast are great. They're not trying. It's just they're just generic as hell. Except Saavik, but it's because she's Saavik. If she was anyone else, she'd be generic as hell.
You know what this feels like? Section 31 movie.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does. Wow.
Only this is way better.
Better uniforms, yeah.
Yeah.
And the stuff with Picard and Riker is fine, but like he'd be listening. There'd be logs. Like, it's a bit silly. And there's also Suicide Squad, and there's like pain things which keep them down. But he's not an intimidating enough villain. Like, he's a little bitch without the device. They honestly should have hired like The Rock, you know, like a big guy, because he's in obviously Void. He was out there at the time.
Yeah.
It's just a subpart with a great idea. And part one is at least has the mystery at the start. I mean, I can't go as high. I mean, I certainly can't go B. I kind of want to give it a D because I don't like it that much, but it might not be D worthy. But I don't know for part one. Because C at best. What do you think?
I think part one's better than part two, personally. This is the setup. I think is better. The mystery of Picard learning that the device that
let me skim part two then.
Shot him was an actual transporter device, so you shoot the person you want to transport,
which is great.
And then the revelation that it's Picard's not dead, to Riker at least. I think part one's really good. Part two, the ending's good. The reveal of the weapon and calming your mind. But I don't remember anything else from part two.
I'm scrolling part two and I'm bored.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the same exact visuals, the same cheap sets as part one. I like that Riker ends up being like, I'll help you because fuck Starfleet. That's a good plot. And the fact that he ends up having more chemistry with the captain because he's more renegade, that's good. That works well. I like the tall clown guy. Fine visual gag for 35 seconds. And the fact that the attack Enterprise is fine, but it's a bit silly. Would have been a very dense one part, in fairness.
It would have been, but it would have been paced a lot better. I think it's really drawn out.
I'm wondering, is it because Picard? Because you don't need to focus on Picard for that sort of story. If it had been, I don't even know. Well, I mean, Beverly to go kind of wacky with it. Someone else to kind of give some depth because he doesn't need this, right? He did die hard on a ship. He was okay.
The thing is, they did this already last season. Deanna being on a Romulan ship,
and that was better.
And it was one fucking episode.
Much better.
That's what this needed.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's passable Star Trek, but it's one that I don't really care about.
I mean, both C then, because nothing here is B worthy.
Oh, I would say D for these.
Okay.
There's nothing that really
if you can,
is a stinger.
If you can stomach the D, Stuart, then take the D.
long as I can calm my mind.
But I do think several scenes of this would probably be.
Absolutely.
And it would be interesting. I don't know if anyone's actually done it. Have you ever actually compressed it to one part? It'd be freaking dense. There's a lot going on. It's just not. It's just drawn out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Next up, we got Classic for Real again. $5, so thank you.
Crazy man.
We do see Worf in red later and married to Troy, except her name is Jadzia for some reason.
That's weird.
Also, Force of Nature. Team Fortress 2 pun you won't get.
No. A Force of Nature. Okay, which one's that? Yeah, that does not tell me anything about the episode, I feel like.
No, I know. Most of these episodes.
Force of Nature.
It's episode 9.
Episode 9, oh right. Let's see what this one is.
I'm scrolling along with you.
Still haven't found it. Oh yes, it's the siblings who have warp stuff, I believe. A vortex, something with a vortex. They're scientist people and they risk everything. The
I just scrolled
Cadaverous
through the
corridor.
whole thing, and I couldn't tell you a thing about it. So I'm backing off of this one because I don't remember this one.
Yeah, I remember it being another like sci-fi one, kind of similar to the not really, but like tonally similar to the one with Beverly and all the scientists. Another scientist or the wave, which actually might be that. No. Oh, this is the one where subspace is being destroyed.
Oh,
Because at the end, the thing saying, "Hey, subspace being destroyed. We should probably fix those warp nacelles." Hence Voyager. Yeah, that's what it is. So we have to work out a way of fixing. Yeah.
Okay, now I remember what it is. Okay, I still don't remember it.
Like I've seen it.
I have too.
I remember the people.
Sure. Perfect.
But only a D though, because I remember there being some good bits. Like it's not bad, it's just unmemorable. Like I remember being absolutely fine. Which is not what you want from a expensive TV show.
No. The final season.
What do you guys think? Classic Real, if you could sort the yes.
Hold on one sec.
So Simon Cockings with S at the end. Classic Real. Let's see. Yes, what drive is bad for the environment? Not a bad idea. Just abandoned. Oh, Neil, love the Pegasus episode. It's a turning point for Icon Picard. Interesting. Right at the end, you say? Devereaux. I believe this is the episode that caused Rick Berman to tie a red ribbon over the eyes to Roddenberry because Roddenberry said no space pirates. Well, he was not alive at this point, so.
Yeah, but every time they talked about stuff Roddenberry wouldn't agree with, he put the thing over the bust.
Ah, yes.
All right. What's next?
What's next?
Classic for Real, $2. Still waiting for a nucleoid peptide flavored cake. Blah blah blah. We already covered that episode.
But what? I want cake. Cake would be good. Just in general, just some cake.
Indeed. Australia is not real. Just ask a flat earther. $2 Australian. All the Q episodes. Perfect. Moving on. I don't know what that means. Matthew DeFritis, $5. I always loved Emergence, especially the train scenes. Ah, yes, the Sentience Enterprise D.
Hard to summarize in a picture because the train and the people in the train. Yeah.
Yes. Just gonna have to scroll through for some refreshers, but yes, some interesting visuals for sure, and just the idea that the computer is kind of. I don't know if the computer was getting sentience or if there was a.
No, there's an alien tube-based
yeah.
thing that came in and said hi, and made it.
Came in and said hi.
Oh,
Um,
which one was this called again?
Emergence. It's episode 23.
Thank you. Yeah, near the end, we're really ending on a high note. So it starts out with a rather good Shakespeare again, with Picard's directing Data again, and then suddenly the holodeck program changes to a train, which is kind of great. And then the train is the ship, is not the ship. It's a real threat here. It's a real risk here, which I like. I do believe the actor that plays the conductor is a famous character actor at the time. He's somebody.
Yeah, he looks very familiar.
Because he's got that certain, like, he knows his vibe and he's playing that vibe.
There's also some scenes filmed on the back lot.
Got some good guest actors in this. I recognise instantly. Yeah, the fact they are controlling the Enterprise is fun. There's also an agenda.
Vertiform City, that's where they're going. Yeah.
The gold brick in the wall.
Which is a white dwarf star. Yes, they got to get back to the white dwarf star.
Gosh, it's weird to see them on the backlot. They've never used this, have they? Really, ever? It's cool to see them like that flatly lit, boring, real set that's we all know so well. It's kind of fun.
It looks like they're in a piece of the action.
Oh, yeah. I mean, good effects of the thing CG, which is pretty good actually, considering.
Yeah, this is a good episode.
So they've got to help, because the whole point is they try and fight the train, but the point is they've got to work with the sentience of the train, is the alien, which is the Enterprise, to work with it in its language to be able to solve the problem, to be able to get it home, and it makes sense. It's actually all about working with the problem, not necessarily, it's got a good end. It's just never really picks up steam. You know what I mean? It's always decent, but
does it ever go off the rails?
No. It's tied to those rails going at 40, but it never goes to 80.
Stays right on track. Yeah.
Like it needed something else. Just that this says to me a good vanilla cake. It's tasty. We remember it later. Not really, but it's tasty enough.
And it reminds me of the Voyager episode where the aliens get into the Captain Proton holodeck program.
Oh, that's much better. But yes.
I know, but it's the same kind of concept.
Yeah. That one takes the fun, like, effort. This is almost too grounded, which sounds silly. And this is where, like, the Casino Royale episode, like, that's so much more full. This is just like, well, we've got a train set.
Yeah, for me it's a C.
Yep, flat C. Gentle. You wouldn't dislike it, but it doesn't particularly do great.
Yeah. As much as I like trains.
Yeah. Very much so. All right.
Oh, hold on a second. Sure, good enough. All right. Classic for real, $5. $2 super is referring mystery to in all good things better than Section 31, Garrett and Giorgio. Just go like stop super weapon.
Yeah.
But me being cheap. Season 7, episode 2, Liaisons.
Yes, the many people all playing parts of their society, all dealing with people in different ways, so that the society can get a quick lesson on what the hell and who the hell people are.
Yeah, every time me and Sylvia watch this, I'm always like, I'd fail this if I was Picard because I'd bang that chick. Just saying. Which would be weird and kind of gross.
I mean, they're shapeshifters, it's fine.
I know, but I'd fail the test somehow. I don't know.
She wouldn't want to change her body. Just say that way because you're too good. It's like, right. Fail the test.
Yeah. So you get the guy that is basically pissing off Worf just to learn about confrontation. You get the guy that loves eating and just living the good life.
Having fun with Troy.
And then you get this lady testing Picard, saying she's stranded and lonely, and he's injured, and she makes the injury seem worse than it is, and it's actually healed. And
because his guy dies, you see. So
yes, yeah. And It's an interesting way for species to learn about us, and this has been done many other times in Trek as well. So,
But they got a good guest cast.
they did.
The not amazing, but good. The fun guy is much better, and good choice scenes. As I'm scrolling, I remember all of them, which is good. And definitely, I think a good for this as well. I think for Picard being in this situation, I said not so much the Gambit guy, but this is like he's a vulnerable. Like he's such a not cold, but he's such a professional character. And now being vulnerable, I mean forced to be vulnerable, but wanting to look after her, that plays well to his strengths as a character. So he's more likely to be taken back by this, which works. And of course, yeah, the Worf is like, how's your guy? Oh, he's great. Yeah, we eat together, we have fun. How's yours? I hate him. He is a stupid mother. I want to kill him. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm going dancing with my guy. I'm going to punch him. But I do think they do commit very well actually to the lady bit. Like you do think that's real for the longest time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a well played thing.
Yep. For me, it's a C though. Well,
no, it's a C. It's just a it just like the previous one. It never quite gets going, but it always stays at a good pace. Like it's good.
Yeah.
But it could have been better.
All right. See, it is. Come on, season 7. What are you doing? You're averaging all over the place.
That's why I said go into this, right? It becomes mediocre. Never bad, but mediocre. And some good ideas. There's just something less sharp about it. Or are we comparing it to the highs? Because had this been season 1, everything C would be a B. Right? For a worse sci-fi, they'd all be good. But the bar is so much higher. What they can do is known. So it all feels less good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ozzy, now's a good time to let us know any of the other ones that you want us to look at.
That's a classic beautiful one, yes.
I might have missed it in the chat, so I'm just reminding you now. Please put it back in. Oliver Lavery Farag, though, member for 33 months at the rank of lieutenant. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, sorry I've been AWOL lately. New job equals new schedule, but it's good to finally catch a live, even if I'm a bit late to the party.
Just a bit. Good to see you. Yes, we certainly miss our regulars because you always have fun things to say or terrible things to say. One or the other. One or the other.
Yes.
Especially you, and you know who you are. All right, so I'd love to get. We're nearing all of them. I'd definitely love to get all of them in this. We have what, 7 more? 7 more. And you can see what we've done, so you know what's left. We'd love to get 7 more. We've got a few more minutes left. Yeah, I mean some pretty interesting ones. In fairness, just a little. Yeah, help us out. Get our month even better. Let us know. And of course, when we jump around to DS9, which I believe is going to be Thursday, with another live tomorrow, which I'm interested about. Back to season 1, eh? We kind of, it's funny, the bell curve goes up and then goes down again, so now I have to start at the bottom again to go back up again. That's going to be interesting. But I'll, of course, have the same TNG Internal Voyager uniform, which of course is DS9. And if Stuart will get into his Voyager, he'll probably hate you all, because it hasn't been... I'm sure you've got a tailored Stuart now after 6 years. I'm sure it's been fully tailored now, right?
It's been tailored and screen used.
Great, yeah. So on Thursday, 30 will be me in Voyager, and 30 will be in Stuart in Voyager. But I mean, technically, this is in DS9 season 3, 2 for Homefront, and in the pilot. So I guess if this thing appears, you can put for it if you want in that season, which it does sometimes. And season 3 with the Odyssey. Yes.
Classic for real. $35.
Oh.
I'm literally waiting for a celluloid peptide cake. Ever since seeing that episode, I've always wanted to taste one. Anyways, this should cover the rest of them. But start with Firstborn, Best Alexander episode by default. Okay.
Firstborn. This is the future, I assume, future Alexander episode, which is another. It basically is Endgame, but for Klingons. I must go back in time from a future, and change the past. And Duras, which I always forget are in it. Wow, I forgot they're in it. An amazing guest actor playing future. He says, "Oh, in the future, I as Alexander become a poet or something, and then you die, and many people die. So I've got to help me, young, become a warrior." And
Quark's in this episode.
He is, yeah. And Molor and Kailesh do a fake fight with a song, which is fun. Good colony. I'm looking good little set they built.
I assume that's this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, really good Klingon. He comes in and owns this role. Like, he's not a tall Alexander, but that's the point. And boy, think about this guy compared to how he's the little pussy in DS9.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lot older, but yeah, this is the best Alexander episode by a mile because there's a good Alexander. Sorry.
Don't remember it at all.
Time traveling Klingon. That's such a you thing. Like the concept of time travel and.
I know, but I just scrolled through it and I cannot remember anything from this.
Teaching your past self to be a fighter because you failed to teach him earlier. Like, that
rings a bell. That rings a bell.
Like, you never see people from the future come back to the present. That's rare. And like I say, he literally changes the universe. A Klingon does that. That's great.
Cool. Well, I'm going to have to rely on you for the ranking for this one because I really can't comment on it.
I mean, the fact there's Quark and Duras, and we know they're going to be in DS9 maybe this year. Or last year?
I don't know.
And considering they're about to be killed by the WSD in 2 episodes of a movie. I mean, I always say that a low B, I think this stands out as being a really solid, unique, enjoyable episode, which I enjoy all aspects of, to be honest.
Apparently when I have to rewatch, though, because, like I said, skim through it.
Yeah.
Nothing really is ringing the bell.
Just a magical little concept that makes me happy as a. And had they known, they could have had it be the time travel guy from Endgame. It's like, 8 years away. That device, he could have played into that. Yeah, just such a really good twist. I think it's like his lost uncle, Jack Beck, whatever. It's now maybe your son from the future. Like, what? It's great. I mean, a low B, but for me, this is more cohesive than anything in C. Yeah, more than anything in C, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, next up, we've got Attached, which is Beverly and Picard, which
we've never talked about this one. Yeah, what do you think about this one?
I love the idea. The further they get from each other, the more sick they get, and they can start reading each other's minds. And it's really good. It's a really good character piece for both of them. They play off each other very well. I can't remember the reason that they're linked.
The plot.
Yes. They're on a planet. There's also a B story going on the Enterprise, apparently.
Because there's some pretty serious political stuff. And there's 2 factions. And they're very spy-orientated. And the one guy is very, anti being, seen, so he has, all these gadgets. But then the other side capture Beverly and Picard. But then the rebels let them go with a thing, and a tricorder which gets them to another place to be rescued, but that's a twist in itself. And yeah, easy way of having prisoners. I mean, it's a good idea, connect them mentally so that, you have to stay together as you die. And then the episode's really just about them learning about each other.
Will they, won't they? Continuing.
Well, pretty strongly, because they have some real chemistry in this. Because they can't, Picard can't be himself, because he's literally projecting his brain, God damn it, I can't talk. Stop tearing. Yes, I know your boobs are good. Shut up. God damn it, stop listening to it. It's that sort of episode.
Yeah. And they get the implants removed, and then the nice scene with them at the end. I remember that. She looks fantastic in those nylons. And then he kind of watches her walk away. It's like,
Yeah, they stop having breakfasts. Oh, they kiss. Oh, they smooch. But it's a friend kiss, isn't it? It's like a would we, won't we? No, we won't.
Yeah.
Again, it's not as sharp as it could have been because I think for whatever reason, some of the scenes where they're focused on character are great, but when they're running around, it's good but not amazing, if I recall. And some Enterprise is good but not great. It's like great premise, not the best executed, but you can't do everything perfect, right?
So it's a solid C.
Yeah, I'd say it's a solid C with some very strong B moments, but I think very solid C.
Nice, nice.
Honestly, if this episode had caused them to be girlfriend and boyfriend by the end, that would have been like a payoff, you know? Like, this is the turn, and next week we have the follow-up on that. Could have been really strong.
Yes. All right, so next up would be Thine Own Self.
Oh, yes.
The Iceman cometh.
Jesus.
Data loses his memory because of a radioactive thing that they need to get from this colony, and silliness ensues, I guess.
Yeah, he meets a family who name him, and he can't remember, and he ends up working with them, and they're actually killing the entire colony because it's radioactive. Of course it is. But they commit really well to this family and the art design. Oh, and they have the bloody... I'm scrolling. They have the same big guy who's like the guy in one of the other dream sequences with bed data. It's like, it's the same actor, he's right there. So he yells at him, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And I really like the girl guest actor. She has a little heart. I remember she's really good in this. And Data is very good in this because he's not Brent, he's not Data. He's like a child, but not in a child way. It's a really unique performance from him. Because how do you play the character without any of the character? Right?
Yeah. Oh, this is also... Yes, that's what... I was trying to figure out what this B-plot was.
Oh, yeah.
This is Troy going for her command...
Yeah.
Her command, like, training track, her exam. And she's getting frustrated because she's having difficulty with the technical aspect of things. Because, yeah, there's a whole holodeck scene of her. Yes.
She's really good in those. It's like the end of the show, and she passes her ability to be a command officer right at the end. And the key was willing to send your friends to die.
Yes.
That's the final test. And Riker understands, and it's like, oh, it's really solid character work between two people that, yeah. And then for me, always been a super iconic. His face gets ripped off and then gets stabbed in the chest by whatever. Yeah, because he poisons the well by saving them and then gets harpooned in the chest. It's bloody iconic. He's killing everyone slowly and they come in and...
Yeah.
Always enjoyed this one. It's a really, really well-told little story. Again, Brent being great. Shocker. They love him.
It's got a lot of range, I guess.
For me, I think this is either a low B or a high C. Because this is, I think, successful at its bit better than a lot of these episodes are. Because the guest cast are all great. The setup's great. The sets are great. And the B-plot's great. Does it all come together fully? Not necessarily, but I think it probably gets into B. Which is a bit more successful, I think.
Yeah. Again, I don't remember a lot of the nuances of it. I remember the broad strokes, but that's about it.
I do. This one's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, so what is next in the lineup? We got...
Not many, which is great. Ooh.
Have we looked at Eye of the Beholder yet? I think so, yeah. That's the murder mystery one, I think.
Maybe.
All right, we got Journey's End, which is not the end of the journey.
What is for... There isn't. It's the end of his corporeal form, Mr. Wesley.
Yes, the Native American tribe that is going to be ousted by the Cardassians because...
DS9 prequel.
Yep.
Or during. But yeah, that.
Yes.
I've also only seen this episode once. and it was I remember I remember TV. It was on TV, and it was a shitty. Like the signal was shitty when we had aerial, and it phased out through a bit. So I remember missed scenes because it was bad signal. That's how long ago am I using an aerial to watch it. Even though it's been on VHS downstairs for 15 years. So what do you think of this episode, Stuart? Because like I said, I've not really properly seen this one. Well, I love his same academy uniform. I really appreciate the continuity, having now owning one of these uniforms. So yay, Wesley.
It's an alright episode. It's the tale as old as time. The Indians or the Native Americans, they relocated here. This is their new setup, the new digs, and now they got to be moved again. Like their people keep getting moved. I remember there's a lot of resistance to it. Wesley comes in and he's visiting the Enterprise. The Enterprise's plan is to kind of trick them to get out because there's really no other like they'll all be killed by the Cardassians.
It's happened. Many colonies don't let be you as well.
Yeah, and while he's there, Wesley learns to appreciate these people. He kind of gets this bond with this
traveler,
elderly guy, and freezes time and fucks up their plan immensely to help these people out. And then it's revealed that it's the traveler, and that Wesley was meant for a higher purpose. So
to help some kids on the Infinity by giving them a signal through time somehow. And I had no memory prior to seeing the scene that Jack Crusher's back, the original actor, who's clearly his hairline's receding since season 4, but he's in his original uniform. I love that. 2 Moss Maroons in the same season. That's great.
Yeah. And they decide to leave the colony there under Cardassian supervision, and the Cardassians will try to leave them alone. They come to an understanding at the end. So it's a nice, happy-ish ending.
Then you watch DS9. Hey, same character in the other episode. He's in several.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a great Cardassian. If you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. Kind of vibe.
Now I'm intrigued. This is just literally Native Americans.
Yes.
Why is this not as racist as Code of Honor?
Code of Honor.
Because that's just black culture. This is just Native American culture. I guess because their city isn't huts. If it was, that'd be more racist. But they're not even trying to be aliens here. So they're saying there's a Native American tribe from Earth.
Yes.
I think that was as well. But is that not offensive? Because why would the...
No.
I guess because they are literally us. I don't know. It seems like they're not even trying to be aliens, like anything. I don't know. There's literally that.
This one's probably a B. I remember getting really fucking annoyed with Wesley in this one because his whole attitude towards the Federation trying to save these people, but they shouldn't be forced. And it's like, I get it. I get the moral dilemma, but he actively went out of his way to stop the Federation or stop his friends from carrying out their plan, and paid off for him in the end because he became a traveler. So
okay.
Bad moral of the story.
Yeah. And Chove again. They do love their DS9 crossover, although not actually at DS9. Like with all these stories, wouldn't it have been nice to have, like Kira show up for a bit? Like call DS9 and say, hey, we've got another Cardassian problem. Like these are all like thematically similar. But without the actual payout, without the actual connective tissue, it's like, well, they're just sort of another Cardassian story. But Cardassians aren't that interesting to me. Neither are more border conflict things. Like, yeah, they suck. They want every planet. Like,
yeah.
Dunno.
Okay. Next up is, I guess, Bloodlines, which is not ringing any bells. Ferengi.
This is his. Yeah, you had a son. I've got your son. Hashtag I'm gonna. Yep. Hashtag I'm gonna steal your son. Hashtag vengeance for your son. Hashtag he's not your son. Shit. And they fake all the DNA traces.
I remember parts of this. I don't remember its resolution at all.
Well, he successfully bonds with the kid and then turns out he's not his son, and it's genuinely sad. But why the hell would he have a son? I guess it's just some girl he knocked up in the academy. I think it's that basic. But it's an amazing plan by a Ferengi. We'll trick both of you to think he's actually your son, just to risk everything to get him, and then turns out he's not. Oh, and at the end, I remember this. It's like, you're a day mum because you want profit, and this is all about vendetta to this guy. We demote you to janitor because this is not about profit, and therefore off you go, guys. So it's a very logical thing. But didn't we do this already with the guy who's yelled on his bed? Remember, it's not literally his son, but that's the vibe.
Almost human, or
yeah. Like it's not, but it's very similar tonally. And Stargazer, which I guess is a nice callback. I remember the actor being very vanilla, the sun guy, whereas the guy in Almost Human, if that's his name, is just stronger as an actor. But it's a cool concept, just not done
Suddenly
amazing.
Human is the name of the episode.
Thank you.
Yeah,
good concept, not that well done. Not bad done, just... Although, boy, this lady... What the hell kind of Starfleet approved haircut is this? I would get crucified if this woman's hair was on Emma in a Trek shot. Would you approve of this hair if you saw it on a Trek fan film actress?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, she looks great, but like that's not standard issue Starfleet looking, is it? It's all fringy and weird.
I think it's fine.
No. I get crucified for haircuts. Shut the hell up. Your thoughts?
I have none. It's an okay episode, I guess. I barely remember any of it, so it can't be that great.
Yeah, gentle C again, because it's absolutely fine. Good idea, not well done, not badly done.
Sure.
I should have a more interesting character.
You have 2 left, guys.
Okay. Long range transporting. Okay. Oh yeah, remember that.
I guess we did miss one. Where is it? The one with Data's mom.
Yes, but it's not the same old lady as the last time we had an old lady. Last season, different old lady.
Yes. Different old ladies exist. I don't know if you know that. There's not just one model. But there is of her.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the name of this episode is.
Inheritance.
Inheritance.
So yeah, he meets Noonien Sung's ex-wife.
Yes.
And so he thinks of her as a daughter, as a mum, sorry, which is sweet. Turns out she did die. He did make an android, and he put her brain in it, and she's a one-off that's actually more advanced than Data, but also less capable. It's more humanable, but it's not the same ability set as Data. So it's like a human version. Shocker.
Like a golem. She ages and...
Wow. Yeah.
So it's a precursor to Picard's.
I have no memory of the plot whatsoever, except they bump into her as like, oh, you're on this mission too. That's cool. And then she's hitting a avalanche thing, and then she's injured, and they realize she's actually a android, which is a cool twist. It's cool, but she doesn't know she is. And then we get to see Sung at the end with an emergency protocol in her brain, which is actually the first time we get to actually interact with a real Sung of the era. Because obviously he interact with old Sung, but not Sung of that age, of making him age, which is fun.
Yeah.
It's okay. Hasn't got much of a hard hit. It's fine. It's alright. I feel like we've been there, done that a little bit, even though we haven't.
It's another C.
Another C, yeah.
We're out of room on C, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's give it a B. Is there anything in C right now that can be bumped up to a B, do you think? No.
The only one I'd say is the Roxanne acting one, because she absolutely owns that, and it's so canon adding. But just for those reasons, right? I think they're all C. I don't think we have to accept our fate and just sort of...
Yeah. Classic for real, $2. Aren't we supposed to make up for the $6 conundrum too? No, we're not going to cover conundrum. That's not this season.
No.
That was probably a good B.
B, if not low A.
Yeah.
For this season, it'd be a strong A.
McDuff was great. I liked McDuff.
Pacing is
the whole
wonderful.
idea behind that.
Yeah, I could have got a bit further with the initial fun, but it works, you know. All right, are we ending on a high note?
Fuck no.
What's last then, Stuart, my friend, my good pal? Oh,
Descent Part 2.
why have you done this to me, Stuart? You had the power of choice. Okay, summarize the start of the sea, the start of the end, as it were.
Beverly's in charge of the Enterprise. Lore's being a bastard on a planet with a bunch of Borg. Beverly comes up with a really great plan to take care of the enemy ship by diving into the sun, essentially. Geordi gets tortured by Data.
Same thing as Generations, almost.
Yep.
Huh.
A lot of command issues on the Enterprise. The guy thinks he knows more than Beverly.
Which he probably does in terms of the stuff that they're doing.
Yep. But all works out for the best. The Enterprise stuff is probably the best of this. I don't know why this is such a letdown when we talked about it.
Well, the problem is it's lore, the Borg. Two of the best concepts, and none of them are done well. Lore's barely in it, and none of it's interesting. Really, the Borg are shit. They're not the worst Borg we've ever seen. Hugh's in it barely, which could have been also as a bad payoff to that as well. The pacing's wonky, and the ship stuff with Beverly's the best part, and that's not because the cast is so strong. Like, the ladies are adorable and it's great. It's just you've wasted these strongest premises. Now, luckily they aren't the Borg, which help. But this is the end of. That's the end of of lore. It's like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, and it just poo-poos on the mystery of part one, all the fun setup, and then the way he dies at the end, like a little bitch, just shoots him in the chest. It's like, oh, there you go. It's like, okay.
Yeah, Laura gets deactivated essentially.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we didn't like it, and we knew that. So even if we can't remember it fully, we knew it was real bad for us back in the day.
So is it a D or an F?
Oh, it's an F, I think, for I think quality of content and for this season, right?
Yeah.
It is not good.
Oopsie daisy.
Because missed potential is also a thing.
So there we go.
What have we learned here?
Well, definitely a dip from the last couple seasons.
Yeah, let me go back and look at what you said.
Not a dip.
Well,
it's just there's more of a smattering of ideas here across the board. They're trying to try a bunch of different things. A lot of these episodes I find are very dense. And always not in a good way.
But like I say, I mean, ideas all over the board. They're just not that successful or medium successful. Because I'm looking at, last season we had 4.5 S's because one was user upgraded, 3 A's, and then equal B's, C's, some D's, no F's. And remember, best of both worlds, one story. So we have 2 S's, 1 A, and a raised B, and then good number of B's and almost all C's. Like, that's half the season, give or take, is C, or like a third of the season. Yeah, a third of the season is C. That are very comfortably C. And D's because they're both unmemorable and not great, versus the other D's where they were like, I just don't remember them. Compare that to season 5, where we had 3 S's with 2 ups, 6 A's, which would have been 8 A's. That's amazing. 5 B's, 7 C's, 1 D. So the bar is still a lot of C's, but a lot of B's, A's, and just the standouts aren't quite standing out, and therefore everything else is kind of going to C. Let's compare to season 1, the one that we thought was the worst. Obviously, it's comparative, right, to that season, right? So,
Go ahead.
Oh,
so to close out though, I want to do the poll.
So season 1 had 2 S's. First season, 6 A's, 4 B's, I guess 8 C's, 2 D's, and 1 F. So interesting, yeah, similar C's, but the B's, yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, that wraps it up, guys. The poll, 41 votes, is Parallels in your top 20 episodes.
Ooh, wow, close.
Episodes wins. That's probably what I would answer to, with 37%.
Yeah.
Top 10, 34%.
Not people.
Top 30, 20%. And not a fave, 10%.
Ah, 4 of you can't have fun.
Yeah.
Oliver, it's $5, but if you want to jump it in right at the end, you can. But we're closing out any minute now. If I was to bump up or down. So join us on Thursday for DS9 Season 1, which I do not remember very well. I remember the late seasons more. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because you know DS9 quite well.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but...
Oh, better than me.
Yeah.
And tomorrow for something. Phase 1 no, tricorders maybe.
Tricorders.
Ah, yes. You like me a tricorder. Well, you can be the first one to put in the Section 31 tricorder.
That's an F. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh.
Classic for real. If you're here tomorrow, put it in. It'll be the first F on the board.
Yeah. Who can rush to find the worst ones? Because there are some, and that include, I believe, I guess any alien race. Because there's not enough. Yeah, there's not enough alien ones to do a separate live. So it'll be any aliens, including like the Romulan Generations tricorder. Yes, there is one.
All right.
Is there 2 in X era? Is there a Mako one? Probably not.
But join us tomorrow, guys, and Thursday for Deep Space Nine, and tomorrow for Tricorders. And Oliver wants a little lower deck. Send that baby up 1. All right.
Okay. Oh, damn. You do love it.
We love it too, but...
We do.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Oliver. 5 does make a big difference, as you know. So tune in tomorrow for Things and Bobs. Really interested for Thursday, so do join in for that, guys. Help us with some DS9 love. And thank you as ever, Classic, for my uniform. It's fun to wear the tinge.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, he's Commander Calkins.
He's Commander Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.